Welcome back to Xack Reacts. In this episode I want to talk about the next generation of consoles because I think you might want to hear me talk about them, and I want to do it before E3 begins so that you can hear what I think of them just before the big E3 reveals and everything sends us all haywire. So this is what I currently think of the PS4 and the Xbox One and maybe the Wii U. Might get some time and I'll talk about that as well. So I'll start with the PS4 since that one was announced first. Now people have complained that they hadn't shown the actual console yet. We'll see that at E3, they're building up to that. But yeah, the console itself wasn't shown at the own console reveal, and that's probably because Sony said the focus of the next generation is the gamer, the games, the developers, the controller. They're focusing on that stuff, the stuff that matters, and that's good. They've got their priorities straight, so it makes sense that they're holding back the console until now, saying it doesn't really matter, but when it does, we'll show you it. We're finally, getting onto the next generation, and the big focus is on the games. That's a really good step. The very first thing Microsoft did was show off their Xbox at their conference, and well, we'll get to that in a second. So the new controller, I think it's a really good improvement off the last one, especially with this touchscreen, and people are saying a few things about it, and my friends in particular, their first reaction was, oh no, it's going to be really expensive now. I'm not worried about that yet until I actually see a price. Until that point, I'm just going to look at what it can do and what we can do with it now. And I think it looks really cool. I think it's a nice idea. Having a touchscreen could really improve the experience. It could be like a very good addition, and it could also be completely pointless, but that depends on how developers use it. And this could really open up a few worlds, especially in games like real-time strategy games where, having a bit of extra control is quite helpful, especially in that area. Then there's the light bar on the back, which is apparently going to be connecting with the new eye camera, which we haven't seen yet, but that should be interesting as well. And that's going to also add a few range of additions to the whole system, the way things work. I don't really know yet. I think we need to see more of that before we can really see how good it will be. But yeah, it sounds interesting. The light bar, it's like taking a piece of Move and putting it in the controller, and that's not a bad thing, so it could be good or not, it depends. It's got 3 different colours, and it's also going to be used to tell players apart. I wonder about that, because what about 4-player games? Well, we'll see when it happens, I guess, but for the time being it looks interesting for now. Lastly, there's also a couple of general improvements to the controller's interface, which is really good. The triggers now are actually triggers, which is a very welcome improvement to the controller, as well as the analog sticks now being a bit better for your thumb. That's pretty cool too. The grip has been improved. That's really good. They're really building up on this controller, and I've always enjoyed the DualShock. It's always a great controller, but lately I've noticed it's a bit small, isn't it? So maybe the touchpad will also increase the size a little bit, making it more gamer friendly, which in general it's already looking to be, which is very good. So let's not beat around the bush, let's get on to the games. Now, Infamous Second Son I will probably get, okay? The Infamous games I love, and this game looks pretty interesting. New protagonist, people are already throwing a few curses at him, but I quite like him. So far anyway. I mean, just that one line. You are not in control. Gives me chills every time. But yeah, I mean, the Infamous games are great, and I'm looking forward to getting to see them on the next generation, because open sandbox games are so fun, but they're always limited in some ways, just spacing and textures and AI, but this could all really change with the next generation. We could overthrow a few of these at least, and Watch Dogs is a case in point. I mean, as for Watch Dogs, I'm getting it, enough said. Then there's the game Drive Club, which is clearly a game for unabashed car nerds. I mean, that's great, I'm happy for any car loving people who are looking forward to the game. That's great. They've really pushed themselves to give a game that's going to make these people happy, but for me, racing games has never really been a thing for me. I've never enjoyed them that much, not unless it was like a kart racing game or the likes of Jack X, where you got weapons to shoot your opponents. I might have issues. But yeah, Drive Club, it looks good. I like the whole club system where you can hang out with your friends in the game, challenge each other, challenge other people. It could be really good. And with the social interface, the whole social media that we're getting now, I'll get to that in a second, but this could be pretty good anyway. I might be tempted. It depends. Square Enix took stage during the conference, which I think they did purely to troll us. Seriously, what the heck was that? But anyway, getting on to an actual game, we've also seen Killzone Shadowfall, and I think that looks interesting. I've only ever played and owned Killzone 3, but the series has caught my interest a bit, and I kind of like it, but I've always wanted to play as the Helghast. Who's with me on that? The Helghast. And I guess it's nice that they're next door to us this time. I love the new scenery, the whole new location. It could be very good, but until I see something really groundbreakingly new, apart from the whole the set pieces, that was pretty cool. I'm not entirely convinced yet, but it looks good. It does look good so far. Not that much left to cover. There was The Witness, which looks okay, but we haven't seen too much of it yet, so I can't really say anything about it. There was Deep Down by Capcom. That game looks quite good. It's like a cross between Dragon's Dogma and Skyrim, but until we see more, again, I can't say too much about it. I hope it's good though. People were saying that's not really gameplay, but I would like to see them prove them wrong on that. It could be something quite fascinating, so I'm going to keep my eye on that one. And especially this one, Destiny by Bungie. This game could really be something spectacular, and it probably will because it's Bungie. So I'm looking forward to this game and see how it develops and progresses. But yeah, it looks good and sounds good from what we've seen and heard so far. I can't really comment on what Media Molecule and Quantic Dream are doing because they were just tech demos, so I don't want to give out any opinions yet until we see an actual game. But that was pretty funny, that thing that Media Molecule suddenly came out with, doing a rock concert in the middle of their Move presentation. And it's quite good to see them giving the Move some attention and experimenting with it. They're probably going to do something online-based creative expression game, which I am going to suck at, because when it came to Little Big Planet, I very rarely succeeded at anything I did. There were a couple of good levels, but yeah, like 7 hearts stood between me and the Create trophy in the original Little Big Planet. So, see, I've never really been good at anything that connects online too well. I guess that just coincides with my antisocial tendencies, but maybe the PS4 will be a fresh start. Continuing off that point, have you seen the new social features that Sony are advertising with the PlayStation 4? They have overhauled the PlayStation Network. It's 5.10. It's so much better than it used to be. We've now got live streaming and sharing photos and video clips of our footage with our friends. There might even be cross-game chat. There's so many new social features for getting involved with people, and people can watch you play and even help out if they need to, and take over, which people are no doubt going to abuse. But hey, at least they're trying, and you can get more involved with the community, which is good and bad. Quite nice, I suppose. You'll be able to separate the angels from the demons anyway. So my lasting impression is this is a very good console so far. It looks really nice and I'm looking forward to getting it because I will get it. I'm waiting for E3 to decide when I get it, okay? It will determine for me exactly how good it is and how worthwhile it is. So until that time, I don't want to make a final decision yet, and I don't want to make a final opinion yet, but that is so far what I think of the console. Okay, time for the Xbox One. This will be brief. I can't even sugarcoat this. It's not good. It's not good. Now, first I'm going to level with you. I have not owned an Xbox console. I am generally a PlayStation gamer, although I dabble a little bit in Nintendo as well, but I don't want to take sides in any console war or anything, and I've managed to look at the Xbox 360 and see plenty of good things about it, and I just decided I'm not going to get it because there's not enough games in it that interest me, and it's a little too similar to the PS3, so it's kind of pointless to have both unless you're really determined to get every Halo game. But despite that, I went to the Xbox One hoping this could be a fresh start. Maybe the Xbox One will turn things around and show me exactly why I should get that instead of the PS4. Maybe I could finally own an Xbox for once. And gosh, it just turned it around. It pushed me as far away from getting an Xbox as I ever have been. There is no chance I will get an Xbox One.
The one system for a new generation.
If I had a heart, this would be where I'd die of laughter.
First, there's the used games fee, which is total rubbish. I mean, you can't even play the same game on the same Xbox with different accounts. I mean, that's just so greedy. You're basically not allowing families to share a game. That's really sad, actually. Kind of dark now that I put it like that. There was a new Kinect shown as well, and honestly, that was just pointless. I mean, those voice command options, for the menu, Xbox go home. Who else thinks that's going to cause more problems than it solves? I mean, does it even solve any problems? Why is it necessary? We already have a system for operating the menu. It's a controller with buttons. Why do you not like buttons? Are buttons not good enough for you? But yeah, before I break my mic, that was not impressive at all, and you have not convinced me in any way, shape or form to buy an Xbox for those stupid voice control options, Microsoft. But yeah, the big thing they were boasting about is that the new Xbox can go on TV and go on Skype. Newsflash, my TV and computer already do those things. I don't need the Xbox to do that. So basically they're saying if you have like a Skybox and a computer, just get rid of those things and get the Xbox One. If you don't want to get rid of those things, then don't get an Xbox One because it's pointless to have both. Because that's what the Xbox One is boasting. Old features. Old things we don't need on our console. They did not brag about the games, which was very lackluster. There was Call of Duty, which is going to be multi-platform anyway. There was a lot of sports games, which are going to be multi-platform anyway. The only exclusives they got, I think, were Forza, a generic racing game, and a trailer for a game which looks more like a TV show, and half the trailer was live action anyway. I mean, seriously, what kind of gaming advertising is this? It's pathetic. In fact, a lot of responses I saw to this reveal were really dejected and depressed people who had given up on Microsoft and were moving on to other competitors. I mean, it was just shameful. And I actually felt sorry for these people. Even if they were raging fanboys like a month before, these people I could pity because this was so disappointing. It was a massive letdown. The people who were not reacting like that are typically fanboys who just can't accept the fact that Microsoft are going downhill and are refusing to accept that the competition actually has some leverage on this one. It's actually really sad. Oh gosh, what a console. But on the bright side, there are actually people who are having a pretty optimistic outlook on this, and that's pretty good. There are people who are thinking that at E3 they might be able to change things. Microsoft still have a chance to save the Xbox One. They could make a few decisions, turn things around, and hopefully pick up to at least a decent level and win back some of their fans, because at this rate they're really not going to get anywhere with the Xbox One. And me, personally, I hope it does actually manage to pull itself out of the gutter. I mean, it was such a letdown to see it fall so hard, but maybe they'll be able to pick it up. Maybe they'll be able to save themselves at E3, and if they do, I would be quite glad to see that the competition is still alive. And yeah, but until E3, I can say right now that I just don't see any merit to it right now. I will now go on to talk about the Wii U because, well, I guess I might as well. So the Wii U's out now, and it's been out for quite a while, and it's got a bunch of games going for it, but I don't have one. I do have a Wii, well, our house has a Wii, but I don't really use it too much, and I don't see any reason to get the Wii U for it. Because the Wii U, it looks like an attachment to the Wii. I know it's a console, I know it's a next generation system, but it's got technology on par with the current generation, which is kind of weak, I think, and there's no Nintendo games for it that I think justifies the purchase. There's new Sonic games coming out, but they're coming out for the 3DS, so I'll go for them if I'm desperate, okay, but I'm not too bothered if I miss a couple of Sonic games just because they're only on the Wii U. I do think the partnership between Sega and Nintendo is kind of a match made in heaven, so this could be really good. But as for the Wii U, I think it looks like a decent system, but I'd rather get a Vita, and I don't really see too much in a Vita at the moment. I think it could have some very good, cooperation with the PS4, and I will wait for E3 to see more of that again as well. And I'll probably try and get one for Christmas if it does, but I don't know. The Vita, it seems to do a lot of the things that the Wii U can do, only much smaller. Not as good technology. I understand the Wii U is better. That's not debatable. It's true. The Wii U is better, but I just think the Vita is really similar in that regard. So I would personally go for that instead of a Wii U. That's kind of a shame, but honestly, there aren't any games that are going for me right now. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's all I have to say about that for now. I am jealous that we won't get to play the Deus Ex Director's Cut though. Well done, Wii U fans, you've got that one. You really have got that one, and yeah. So that wraps up my opinions of the next generation of consoles, pre-E3 anyway. So yeah, that just leaves the comments now. It's up to you. You guys want to talk about this? You want to say what you like best, what you think of the conferences, what you think of my opinions? Just use the comments for that right away if you want. They're right there, and I'll be sure to answer any questions or queries you guys have as best I can. So, yeah, that's I never know how to end my videos. Seriously, cheerio, bye, tata, see ya, farewell, adieu, arrivederci, sayonara, good riddance? No, but yeah. End of video. Video end.